Hey everybody, I'm here with Julie Rachelle. And if you've been watching Light Happy Life for Mindful March, you know that I often chat with all of my guests early on. And Julie and I were talking about the idea of self-love and her story. And it's one of these where even before we started this interview process, Julie and I connected through some of our professional stuff online. And it was just, we're like, well, will this resonate with the Light Happy Life audience? So let me just first introduce Julie. Hey, Julie.
Hi, how you doing, Anne Marie?
I'm good. I'm so glad we connected. We had a couple technical issues, so if you see something change in the recording, we're all still here. It's still going. So Julie, let me just turn it over, and I'll let you tell your story, because your story happened to you at a relatively young age, and it doesn't matter. It's the same idea of whatever happens to you within your story at whatever point in age. How do you move forward?
Exactly. Thank you for that introduction. And yes, so my story, kind of when things started to change for me was when I was 22. I found myself working as a nurse, very overworked, started to have some serious health issues, and turns out that I was diagnosed with an autoimmune illness, lupus. And it was like, wow, I've got to do something differently. And a few months later, I had some bad stuff happen. I know we've all gone through hard times in life. And I turned to an eating disorder, anorexia, as a coping mechanism. And it drained me physically, emotionally, mentally. But I felt at the same time it was kind of like also helping me survive and get through my days until it almost killed me. And I woke up in a hospital bed and in kidney failure, cardiac complications, and realized I've got to make a massive life change. And so that's when I dug deep and realized that any kind of healing, from your past, from maybe a bad job that you're stuck in, a relationship, whatever, it all comes from inside. And so that's when I started to dig deep and find answers and ask myself what I really wanted out of life. And it wasn't hospital beds, it wasn't sickness, and it was, kind of sharing my gifts. I've learned so much from what I went through that I'm like, I can turn this into a positive. And so that's what I did, and I started on my own self-love healing journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, that journey, like in a way, as horrible as it was for you going through, it's a blessing. It's a blessing that happened to you at a young age, right? So for many of us, for myself, I didn't wake up in my moment until I was like 40, right? And it's just like, in a way, that is a complete blessing. And it's the same story, it's just whatever age you're at. So you have this phrase that I love. It's called awakening the joy within you. Right. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's something that I know was really helpful for you along your path of healing.
Absolutely. So awakening the joy within, mindfulness has been such a huge blessing in my life. I used to think it was kind of out there stuff until I started implementing it. And it wasn't the first time, the second time, it was over time. And then it kind of became a habit and a way of life. And it really does bring more joy into the present. So one way I do that is through nature. For me, awakening the joy within is big. I like to get outside, and instead of going on a walk and you're like, man, I have to do dishes, man, I have another blog I have to send out, I've got to do all these things that we're busy thinking about, it's like, wow, let me really feel the fresh air on my face and really take in those leaves and just show appreciation for the beauty and the simplicity. And that's what mindfulness does, is it brings you back into the present. And when you're appreciating how you feel in that moment, the beauty of nature, it's hard to get caught up in everything else you have to do.
Yeah. And you're out in Idaho, which is God's country.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, it's one of these where, so I live in the city, right? And I tell everybody this, but even for me, I love to get out and walk, right? And it's just, I live in part of the city, and it's just like, I just walk around for a few minutes, get out, get some fresh air in my face, feel the sun. And this is one of Abraham Hicks's big things too. It's like, get out and look up. And so many times now when you're outside, you're walking and you're looking down at your phone, and this whole carriage changes. So get outside, enjoy nature, find a hiking trail, go do something, even if it's only, for 5 minutes, right? Like if you can
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's what, I love about the idea when we were talking about this topic. It's how can you get outside for just a small period of time? Because now we're so closed in with the internet, with everybody being able to connect, just like you and I are. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So one of the other things that you talk about a lot in your blog and in your website is self-love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about self-love and why it matters and why it's not selfishness.
Oh no, it's the furthest thing from selfishness. And that was something that I had to retrain my brain thinking, wow, I take time for me. That's okay. Absolutely. Because when you recharge your own batteries, when you feel good about you, when you love yourself, it's going to improve the relationships of those around you and of those you interact with, of those you serve. Maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're serving clients. Well, you can't pour out of an empty cup. You know, you have to fill yourself up.
Right.
Maybe you have an office job and you're busy, 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 and you're constantly in a bad mood and it's draining you. Well, you need to take time to recharge so that you can operate from a place of that positive energy.
Right.
And another way that self-love was life-changing and also in awakening the joy within myself was in decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to tune in to what my values are. And I encourage you women that are watching, what values do you want to shape your life around? For me, it was love, self-love, and love to give other people,
Mm-hmm.
joy, and freedom. And so being a recovering perfectionist people pleaser, I was saying, yes, 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 sure, and putting myself last. And now self-love helps me realize, like, wait, is that going to bring me more love for myself and to give out? Is that going to bring me more joy so that I'm a joyful person for those around me?
Yeah.
And is that going to bring freedom to my life and also business, and just in how I feel to be unapologetically myself? So that was a game changer in the whole self-love way of thinking.
That's awesome. Yeah, there've been a couple of other coaches that have mentioned these general themes, right? It's about how do you want to feel and keeping that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to feel that you're fulfilled, like even we were talking about your job as a nurse, when you were in nursing, you're always giving, and it's so draining, right? You have to be so compassionate, which is part of who you are and what attracted you to that field. Same thing if you're a nurse, if you're a mother, if you're a teacher, right? If you're any of these caregiving traditional female roles, you drain yourself. And it's like, how can you give back? If you want to feel balanced, you have to start with yourself, right?
Totally, completely, 100% agree.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So Julie, what's your secret to a light, happy life?
So my secret to a light, happy life, if you aren't surprised by this answer yet, is definitely self-love and owning who you are, accepting who you are, and celebrating it. So we all have some crappy stuff from our past, right, that we might not want to relive or remember, or maybe we're holding on to some kind of pain from it, and it's preventing us from finding joy in the present. So when you accept your story, whatever it is, and you can own it and talk about it and share it and find the good in it, it not only fulfills you, but it helps other people and it inspires other people. I don't like necessarily talking about how I suffered from anorexia and it was messy and those were dark times, but I've also helped a lot of people because I've been honest. And, you know, Brene Brown has a quote, something like, owning your story and loving yourself through the process is the bravest thing you'll ever do. And I totally agree. And it's not easy and it takes daily work. So along with self-love, first and foremost, is self-love habits and creating healthy habits. I'm a firm believer that we are what we do repeatedly and what we do every day. And it's just the little things that add up. So little mindful moments that bring you joy. Write out what brings you joy. Schedule it into your day. I'm a planner. I know women get so busy going from one thing to the next, they forget to actually, oh wow, did I do anything for myself today?
Right.
Actually write it down and schedule it in. That way when you're busy taking care of your kids or running off to work or, you know, working at home, pounding out the next email for your blog, you know, you're like, oh wait, in 2 hours I'm gonna have some yoga time, or I'm gonna have time to just have a tea by myself and do some reading. So I really promote creating healthy habits.
That's great. And you have a self-love video series, right?
I do.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I created a video series, and it was basically through trial and error for me, what worked over the years to get me out of that really dark place, painful place I was stuck in for so long. And it's just simple steps that I found worked. You know, so many people are trying all these different things, and it's like, but is anything changing? No. So I'm more of all about that action. So at the end of every video series, I have an action step that I encourage you to take. Usually they only take about 3 to 5 minutes. Just tune in with yourself and do the action step. And then I've also have 5 healthy recipes that are some of my favorites, because I'm a big believer in not only like being authentic with yourself, that of course is going to lead to self-love, but nourishing your body properly is huge in how you feel, how you think, how you function. So I've also included recipes in that series.
That's great. We are totally sisters because, as you know, like everything in my toolkit is all about practical. Like, let's get real, right? Like, and we were talking again earlier, like I love spending 3 days out at a yoga retreat, you know, but like, what can I do every day? Yeah.
And break it down, small steps, 5 minutes a day. And next thing you know, you're going to be like, oh, I have 10 minutes for this because I've learned how to time chunk and not get caught up in the overwhelm of multitasking, which chaos, right?
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a video that I'm going to release. It's called Multitasking is Evil, right? Because it is.
And I used to live my life that way. No wonder I was so drained.
Exactly. And then you're so scattered. I know. Yeah. So the idea of self-love is so key and such a beautiful message. So, and I really do, in speaking with you over the last hour or so, like you have such a powerful message to women. And I love that you're using your story of a dark place, because we've all been in those dark places, no matter what it is. And that's where that incredible strength and passion comes from. And I can feel it through here. So
thank you so much for creating this, Anne Marie. I so appreciate it. So grateful you had me on.
Oh, thank you for joining us. All right. So Julie, you have a wonderful day. And I'm so happy that our recording went through without a glitch.
I know. Thank you, universe.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.